wrong. Oh dear. So no one heard any of that I just said. That would explain why I can't hear anything else. So, all right, I can't go back and talk about gold, and that was some great stuff. That's all right. I'm going to keep going with where I am. So this is Forest. Forest is an algorithm that I've got running on a 4-hour chart. I've had Forest for, by the way, can we hear me now? Someone let me know if we can hear me now. I've had Forest running on this for a week now. I paid somebody to code this for me. And if you've never traded an algorithm, if you've never thought about creating an algorithm, an automated system, even if you don't plan on using it, I would highly recommend the process of getting a system converted into computer code is a fantastic process that forces you to fully think through everything you're doing. And the person on the other end is going to ask questions that you needed to know the answers for, questions that you might not have ever asked before. And also, honestly, I would highly recommend the fellow I hired was in Vietnam, and English was not his first language, and that language barrier forced me to simplify. And that whole thing made me a better trader, made this a better system. Anyway, here's Forest. Forest has taken 4 trades so far this week, 1 winner, 3 losers. As I said when I was on mute, 2 of the losers back tested to not very well, and I would not include them if I was live testing things, if I was trading this live. But I'm taking the month of August to run a live test to validate my back test. Out of the 28 pairs plus gold and silver, I had 4 pairs that had a very negative return, and pound yen and CAD yen were 2 of those. So why don't I leave those out? Well, I'm just running a test. I'm doing this as a live test. I'm committing $40, which is what it costs for 1 month of Darwin Inc. I'm sorry, 38 euros. So sometimes it's $40, sometimes it's 41, sometimes it's 39. Anyway, I'm committing that about that amount of money to test this thing out, and then I'll trade it live. But anyway, what Forest does is waits for a new trend as identified by a moving average cross. It waits for a new high or a low, in this case signified by a red dot, and then it gets in on a pullback to the slower of the 2 moving averages. So you can see we got a moving average cross low, cross down here, so indicating a downtrend. We put in a brand new low. This is over the course of the last 50 bars. So this is the lowest low in the past 50 bars, and after that, it knows to get. It would help if I put glasses on. Here's your first one right here. This is your first brand new low. Put another one, pull back, touch the slow moving average, entered the trade, and it exited at the point of the pullback. In, out, 1 position, and I'm done. I'm happy with that. Got in. That was a 1.5% win, and I've had 2 losses. It's saying there. Ignore that. These are 1% losses. And I'm in 3 trades right now. Let's see how they're doing. Look at Swiss yen right here. So you can see we had moving average cross down, so new downtrend. We had a new low put in, and at that point, it's putting in it is putting in an entry order at the moving average, and it's adjusting it every candle down, down, down. And it got in here, and you can see now we're just ever so slightly below. I mean, it's basically been going sideways. So yeah, we're up $70. Look at Euro Kiwi uptrend here. So brand new uptrend there, and put in a new high. So we started trailing this entry here. Finally got in here. And it hasn't moved much. And then gold way over here. Gold is way over here, and boom. So we had an uptrend, start here, new high, started trailing, and got in here, and now we're up here. Let me show you the win that we had. What was that? That was history. Was XTI, which is oil. So downtrend started right here, and finally touched the moving average here. Got out here, and you say, "Well, you could have made more." Yeah, I could have. Don't care. Look, that is the beauty of any system. You can tailor it to you. And I just want to test this thing, see how it does. I back tested. Everyone back test your system, please. I back tested this, and I was happy with the results from 1 exit. So that's what I'm testing. If you're a member of our thing, by the way, you get access to Forest. You test it, adjust it, make it do whatever, make it dance the way you want it to dance. So that's, we can look at, got a couple of the losses. What was it? Pound yen. So you can see we had a downtrend, new low, got in at the touch moving average, and In fact, we had a cross and uptrend. So, I mean, sometimes a pullback isn't a pullback. Sometimes a pullback is a brand new trend the other way. You just never know. All right. And then the other one was CAD yen, I believe. Kind of the same thing, although this thing could still go down. New downtrend there, new low, got in there. And then the exit was, I don't see the exit. That's interesting. CAD yen was a loss, right? Yeah. Oh, well. You know, every so often, MT5, you can have to right click, go down, and turn trade history off. Off. Oh, Starlink. And then turn it back on. Yeah, so this, I use a VPS, and so right now my signal with my is not doing great. Turn it off, turn it back on, and then and it makes the history pop up again. So there it is right there. So we got out. That's trading. Nothing to do about that. All right, shutting that one down briefly. If you have an EA, don't shut it down for a long time because it needs to be on to be working. Let me turn on my funded system, and let's see how it does. Because I got to wrap this up. I got a coaching call. I got a client to talk to in 10 minutes. So let's see how we're doing right now. We're currently open. We have open equity of minus $70 on a $109,000 account. So, So I want to show you briefly what I do here. All right. So Aussie CAD. We might have something on Aussie CAD here. We closed above yesterday, and we've got our signal today. All right. Let's see if we have volume. From a volume indicator on. We don't have volume yet, so I'm gonna leave myself a note. I'll look at this tomorrow. Arrow up, leave myself a note, and I'll come back tomorrow. Boy, my internet is just not happy today. Like I said, we have Starlink, we have trees. Those are just a bad combination. All right, moving on. Aussie Swiss. Same situation. We had our signal and we crossed above. Do we have volume? We said, why do you need volume? Well, the first time you cross up, sometimes you can get a fake out. Okay, we do in fact have volume. Now let's look at this. Do we have room? And these are questions I ask myself. Okay, we'll let this one fill in. We'll come back to it. Aussie yen crossed up. We don't have a signal. Moving on. Aussie Kiwi, nothing to do there. Aussie US, nothing. We're inside the no man's land, as you can see right here. We're inside between the two lines. Nothing to do there. Yep, I know. I got a Zoom call. Aussie US, nothing to do. CAD Swiss, nothing to do. CAD yen. This is, by the way, is how I trade. Click, nothing to do. Click, nothing to do. Click, nothing to do. It's how I do this whole thing in 15 minutes. Nothing to do there. Nothing to do there. We got this trade that's open. We're down a little bit, but there's nothing to do. This is Euro Aussie. We don't have an exit signal. We haven't hit our stop loss. We're in no man's land. Nothing to do. That's how I manage that trade. EuroCAD Weekly tells me that I had left this here yesterday to look at. Let me turn on my supply and demand zones. Let them populate. Clearly, I was doing something. Boy, I'm just so slow. Try that again. I'm not sure why that's not working. And we'll move on if we can. All right, there we go. Duke, by the way, was the fellow in Vietnam. Fantastic coder. Opposite side of the world, so he's 12 time zones different. Come on. Okay, finally moving, and let's just move on. Nothing to do there. Why? Because we're already past. See this white line there? That's one ATR above this one. We're already past it. We've already moved more than I want to move. We've already moved as much as I want to get for TP1 already. I'm not even in the trade yet. So train has left the station. We're moving on. Euro pound, nothing to do there. We're down inside no man's land. Euro yen, and I'm going fast, right? So if you have a question, drop it in the comment. I'll be happy to answer a question about what I'm doing. Nothing to do there. We're above my baseline, which tells me go long, but I don't have a green signal down here, so I just move on. Euro Kiwi, nothing to do there. Euro US. I left myself a note to watch for yesterday to see if we had volume, but we pulled back to the inside of no man's land. So volume is no longer applicable. I'll get rid of the volume, and I'll just move on. Nothing to do there. We peaked our heads up above the baseline, so we have a signal to go long. Let's see if we have volume. We do not. All right, leave myself a note to check that thing tomorrow, which is actually Monday, see if we have volume, and move on. And okay, again, Starlink. Not that I should be complaining. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do any of this without Starlink. All right, so again, we peeked our head up above. We probably have volume based on what I'm seeing here. We do just have volume. So let's go up and adjust our supply and demand zones. Turn them back on again. And they're on. All right. Let's go back down to the daily chart. They're up there. So step number one is, am I above or below the baseline? I'm above it. Step two is, does my main indicator tell me I can go green, go long or yes? On the first time I get a new trend, I have an additional step of volume confirmation. Do I have it? I do. Get rid of the volume indicator now that I've seen it. And then the last step is, do I have room to get to my first take profit before I hit a weekly zone? In this case, the answer is yes. So we go in and we enter a trade. And I want my first take profit to close half of the position size. My second take profit and my third take profit will take care of the other two. All right. Make those lines do their thing. Boy, this is just so slow. All right, make the lines happen. Click. There we go. All right. And we're going to go into this trade, and boom, we're in the trade. And there's my mobile alert that we just had a trade hit. Go back to the main and switch to pinning to freeze the lines in place, and switch from ATR to regular pips. And there we go. New trade on pound Swiss long, going in with a brand new trend. Pound yen, same thing, but we're heading up into this this overhead supply zone on a weekly zone. I can already tell I don't have room, so I'm not going to bother going through the process. That's how you can trade 28 pairs in 15 minutes. Pound Kiwi, we closed above. Do we have volume? We do. Go up here, add supply and demand zones. We don't. We probably don't have room. Let's take a look, see if we got room. All right, where's it going to click to? I mean, we've penetrated that supply zone, overhead supply zone already up to here. So as soon as this thing calculates itself, well, we have been there before. We've been up to there. So we've got room to hit TP1. That's all I care about. I don't care if we have room to hit TP2 or TP3. All I care about is there clear sailing between me and my first take profit? If there is, I take the trade. And I don't question it. I took all the time to answer all the questions when I created the system in the first place. So as long as my system tells me to go, I trust my system. Hebrews 11:1, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That is what backtesting and a trade plan give you in trading. It gives you the substance of things that you hope for. As long as Starlink works, it gives you the evidence of things not seen. I'm being a little too down on Starlink right now. All right, moving on. Pound US. I got to wrap this up. Nothing there. Kiwi CAD. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. US Swiss. I got into it 4 days ago, and I'm just now back up to my entry, so there's nothing to do here. US yen, nothing to do. Silver. So yesterday we had this system. Hey, first new trend. I have to have a confirmation. I left myself a note. I can have 2 candles. Actually, I can have 3 candles. There's a special situation for that 3rd candle. So as of right now, I still don't have that volume to verify this brand new trend. So leave myself a note for one more time and move on. Gold, I'm in it. We're up a little bit, but there's nothing to do here. And then oil, we're in it. We're up a little bit, and nothing to do here. All right, we had a trade earlier that I was going to circle back to, and I left it on weekly while the chart filled in. Here it goes, EuroCAD. That was the one that I didn't know what we were doing the day before. It was, oh, here it is, Aussie Swiss weekly. That's right. We were filling in supply and demand zones. Nope. All right. And then we take away the automatic recalculation, drop down to the daily chart. There's plenty of room. All right. We got one last trade to put on. Okay. And we're going to do this last thing, and we can end this live stream because I would go longer. As I said, I've got a client to coach in 3 minutes. So I'm doing this as fast as possibly I can. You really don't want to trade quickly. You want to take your time. I've been trading this system now for quite. It doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. Last Friday I made a mistake. I got into a silver trade. Hi, Lemon. I got into a silver trade last Friday because I was in a hurry, and I shouldn't have. I didn't notice that we didn't have room with the on the supply and demand tool. We had actually not been there enough yet. I'll tell you next time what that means. But anyhow, all right, that is it for today's trading on my automated system and my live manual system. I'll show you another time some of the other strategies I've got. But yeah, guys, I'll try to do this every Friday. Come and show you how I'm trading live, kind of give you a behind the scenes look here. And with that, guys, thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.